it's Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. I'm Taylor Brown, and this is How I Did It, the show where we talk with champions about how they achieve their dreams. On today's show, we're talking with Awvee Storey. Awvee Storey is currently the player development coach for the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA. He's also had a lot of experience coaching with the Capital City Go-Go team, as well as Chicago Sky, where he's assistant coach. And he's played professional basketball internationally and in the NBA. So, Awvee, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, so first question I have for you, Awvee. Last year, we all know that the Suns, the Connecticut Suns, you guys made it all the way to the finals. And it was a tough
semifinals.
semifinal. Yeah, it was pretty tough. What with the Washington Mystics, it was
Washington then. So yeah, definitely finals. But
yeah, it was really tough. And it went down to the wire, all the way down to Game 5, and it was 89-78. And I remember watching it on TV. It was crazy feeling. And I noticed after the season, there was a couple of changes to the roster. You guys got some new players such as DeWanna Bonner, Kyla Charles. I know she's a rookie, and Essen Carson. She came a little later, but just like, can you talk to me about some of the challenges of building a brand new team, basically in the Wubble, in such an unpredictable year? What were some of the challenges with that?
One of the biggest challenges is obviously not knowing first if we were going to have a season. COVID and all of that happened and still was up in the air once they told us where we potentially may have the season. From players to staff, like the uncertainty of not wanting to even do that and taking the risk. And, we were such big on the, social justice. And if this is something that we should do going there, we questioned. So it was a lot going into that decision before getting there. And once we to, IMG, Bradenton, Florida, we really had we were there now. So we had to really make the best of the scenario and not just make the best, but we're starting with a whole fresh new team, new pieces. So that was a challenge and it was great. It was no separation there at all. So we got to see them all day, every day. So that was great to build relationships there that way, see other teams as well, see with other teams that didn't have their best players, so we all felt that at that point, all we got to do is, just start getting some gelling a little bit better and we can get this going.
Yeah, definitely. So was that kind of like a trust building experience that made you guys stronger as a team, I guess?
Oh, without a doubt it did. If you remember, we started out 1-5.
I remember.
We struggled. We didn't win any games, so we were questioning everything we did, from what sets we were running into. We questioned everything. But we came together and realized adversity, again, having adversity builds strength and build character within individuals and a team setting. So we continue to fight through all the tough losses, and they were close losses. They weren't just, blowouts at all. They were all 5 single-digit losses, So we knew we were in games. We were coming into games, start out well, be at halftime with leads, and we'll lose them in the fourth quarter. So we knew we can play. We just got to find a whole 40 minutes to be able to do that. And we did.
Yeah, that leads into my next question. Yes, I definitely was tuning in. I was watching beginning of you guys' season. It started off a little shaky, but one thing I did notice, and I'm sure everybody noticed as well, you guys made a change in the starting lineup. And I see why. Kyla Charles, from the University of Maryland, she definitely stepped in and she really helped the team. I felt like that was the momentum changer, and you guys just won a lot of games after that. What made you start her? Like, what made you guys start Kyla?
So we definitely felt we needed to change the lineup and what player was that for us. We as much as we probably all agreed and kind of subconsciously didn't say it, but we knew Kyla was that player. Why? Because from the start of practice, she put all her work in and really tried to do everything that was asked of her, and did it with such, just intensity and something that you expect rookies to come in with. And she did that. And she picked up on all the things that we needed on our offensive end, our defensive schemes as well. And that was almost a no-brainer for us. So we did that, and she had she had a really good rookie season. We didn't have any high expectations for her. We just wanted her to get better and just learn the system and just see how big of adjustment it is coming to the pro level. But she took it and ran with it.
Yeah, definitely. So I noticed, well, as we all know, the bubble was located at the IMG Academy, which was a really nice facility or prep school in Florida. And I guess what I'm wondering, playing in that environment, like did it feel like you were playing in a high school, like back in high school, because you're used to a big arena? So how was the feel? Like, did it feel like you were back in high school?
So it didn't feel high school-ish, I guess, until later in the season when the kids started to come back on campus. Our practice facility was definitely a high school court. We see all the different lines they have in it for, the WNBA, the NBA three-point line.
Yeah.
But once we actually played our games, it was definitely our court, and it was off the campus. But at first it did. Again, it was unfamiliar territory, so we wasn't 100% sure what it was going to feel like. The floors were kind of hard. High school floors, they didn't got bounced like the college and NBA and WNBA. So that was an adjustment. The floors wasn't as sleek and had all the different designs of teams. It wasn't a home field at all. Right. So yeah, that took some adjustment. And ladies, again, I think they did an amazing job being able to adjust and play some good basketball at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I know you guys are used to the giant, locker rooms and the arenas, so that's definitely different feel.
Yeah. We had a fan base here in Connecticut. I think is one of the top in the league. I think most likely it is, if not first, second fan base. So that right there was a big adjustment alone, despite the actual court and what we played on. But just from a fan perspective, that really was a big difference for us.
Yeah, you answered my next question. I was going to ask you, was it more challenging not having big crowds to cheer you guys on?
So it was a little bit of both. It's obviously when you an athlete and played and at whatever level, you get into a zone and you're locking all of that out, good or bad.
Right.
Cheers, So once that ball was thrown up, you see they were locked in. The one big difference, you were able to hear every single thing from the bench.
Yeah.
So if you messed up, needed to get back, you heard
it. Oh yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Coach. So, sometimes after you get through like a big challenge in life, whether it is on the court or off the court, when you get through it, that's a part of you think now pretty much I can, get through anything, or the next thing, whatever challenge comes at you is not as difficult. Do you think like this challenge with the pandemic and playing in the bubble this past season that you feel like, okay, if any other challenge that comes my way, like it's not that difficult because you've already been through kind of a very unpredictable year?
Yeah, you can take this, this both COVID as another notch in everybody's character / just building strength in them as an individual and as a person.
Yeah.
This definitely gave us an opportunity to look at life, and not just life, your job, the relationships you have with people, but a different lens because of all of what's gone on during COVID and being able to just being away from your family.
Yeah.
For 3 months. That's not easy. It's different when you're overseas. many different countries and stuff like that. I played overseas, so you're able to
Right.
get around and be able to do things. But we were pretty much in this one place the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
and that was again, like it's almost hard to explain and how surreal it was. It was in the process, and during it all, it was pretty intense, and it was what we had to do. We test every single day.
Right. Yeah.
All those different things were pretty, it was a lot. But then being removed from it, we almost like that security that it gave of our safety. I actually want back because, we walk out to the stores now these days, people don't understand space and some people don't want to wear masks, so
Right.
we all abide by the rules there. So we knew that we were safe in that regard. So that was a big thing, that big adjustment getting back, you know, in
Yeah.
regular circulation back home.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to look at it. That's probably unusual. You go for that much safety to some people not even wearing masks. So
Yeah,
I understand that.
definitely.
So, what is the biggest lesson the pandemic has taught you?
Um, it taught me a lot of things. I got to sit on that one for a second
Yeah.
because it has taught me a lot of things, and it just opened my eyes to a lot of just a lot of different ways people view um, authoritative figures and what messages being relayed, and it's a whole lot of things that I took from it and still processing.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me during this COVID pandemic and the time in the bubble and being back and before it, um, really a value family,
Mm,
the relationships that you have with people. I have been immediately affected by COVID. I have family members, two brothers
mm,
that were tested positive for COVID from my adopted family. And that hit home. I mean, they're fine. Everything is good. They were asymptomatic. They were able to be fine and bounce back.
yeah.
But there's other people that have had it a lot worse.
Mm,
And then there's other people that have not been affected at all.
yeah.
Um, and then so all of that has been difficult to process because it still has to be a baseline of empathy
Mm,
that a lot of people just unfortunately don't understand.
yeah. I definitely understand that. I just want to send out a reminder to everyone that is watching. We're here with Awvee Storey, and this is how I did it. So, Awvee, thank you for sharing and opening up about that question. I know that's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, yeah. No worries.
Yeah. So we're down to the last three questions I ask
Uh,
every interviewee.
yeah.
So, first question for you is what inspires you?
Inspired me to coach, or just inspired me?
Yeah, what inspires you to coach and to pretty much do what you do? As I know, you do more than just coach. I know you do. Well, you don't just coach WNBA, but you coach. You run your own basketball camp. So, what
Yeah.
inspires you just to do what you do?
Give back. I clearly played the game, and I've had different people have an impact in my life in the game of basketball and outside of basketball. And again, I've heard this word quite a few times, paying forward. So just being in a position where I am coaching is to help others, to really how to help others and try to help them get to their next level in their life and career. Um, and from all ages, not just the professional. You mentioned camps that I do with younger kids and stuff like that. But I
Yeah,
think that is very important to really try to give back in some sort of capacity. Because it's I think it's our duty. I think it's our duty to do that. Period. Like it's just it's
yeah,
for us to be able to do. And I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can do it and get paid doing it.
very true, very true. Next question, Coach. What is your pet peeve?
Pet peeve. That's a good one. Pet peeve.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know if he looked at this place that I have here in Connecticut. I'm pretty organized. I'm a little OCD in how I have things look and the way they should be placed. So I guess that's a pet peeve if stuff is not in the right place. I have a 12-year-old daughter now,
Yeah.
and she can just leave me insane. So I'm trying to get her on that OCD way of mine, and we have a happy life.
Yeah, it's hard for teenagers.
Yes, indeed.
All right, third question. What is your guilty pleasure?
My who?
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. I guess I've been getting into these sweets. I never was a sweet person, but now I have a sweet tooth, and I mean, I gotta have something sweet, and that's just it gets me every night. I'm over here plotting now, like, what am I gonna have after I get off with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, watch the rest of this draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sweets. It's weird. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is. I can honestly admit it now.
Yeah. That's funny.
I'm sorry, but it's mostly like cakes. Like,
okay.
yeah, cake and pie and stuff like that, like bakery pastries type of a sweet.
Gotcha.
Candies, nah, I'm good on that stuff, but I'm a pastry guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can relate. I'm more of a milkshake person.
Okay.
But I can relate to sweet tooth.
You making your own milkshakes?
Yeah, I make my own milkshakes. But I do both. I'll buy it or I'll make it.
Gotcha. Nice. I like that.
All right, Coach Awvee, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Will you be back on the show? We do another one?
Yes, and the next time I do it, I have to be more prompt because I was a little late, and I have to apologize about that.
It's okay.
To be honest, we are meeting I'm telling you, at night. That's how intense it is at times on the coaching side, and we're out of season. But again, I think it's an unbelievable opportunity that we have here as an organization on what we do and how we prepare and get ourselves ready going forward into the new year. Because we set our expectations very high, and sacrifices have to be made. Period.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear.
So I appreciate it, and my apologies.
It's all good. I'm just glad we were able to do the interview. This was great.
No doubt. But yes, I'll definitely be back, and I'm gonna do some questions on it. It ain't gonna be you just interviewing me. I'm gonna be asking some questions because I think what you've been doing has been amazing.
Thank you.
You have obviously an early relationship, and you being a part of my camps, and then seeing where you are now, mind blowing. So I have to give my to-dos and appreciation and respect to you. You're doing amazing. Continue to do it and keep knocking down doors, Ms. Lady.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's growing.
Yeah, it is, and it will continue to.
Yeah. All right, this is great. So thank you again, and I want to thank my sponsors. Thank Spacey Cloud and the Loop, for letting me use the space at the Loop, and Spacey Cloud for sponsoring the podcast. And again, Coach Awvee, we'll be in touch, and that's a wrap.
All right, great. Thank you again.
No problem.